The September 24th, 2025 board meeting of the Board of Voter Registration and Elections of Beaufort County is called to order. It's 2:04 p.m. All board members are present except for Ms. Dorr, who will be a few minutes late, but we'll get started without her. So can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Aline, second.
Mr. Cooper, seconded by Aline. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Public comments, seeing no public present, we'll move on to the next item. And that's meeting minutes from the meeting on August 20th. Those were sent out this morning. Chris, do we have copies of the meeting minutes from the last meeting? Okay.
Were electronically submitted.
Can you print those out for us, please? So we'll, if everybody's in favor, we can postpone this agenda item 5 until after the director's report, when we've had a chance to review the written meeting minutes.
Got them for the public. Oh, I need 2 more copies.
Thank you. Oh, this is September 4th. Is there? The August 20th is in here too.
Well, we just need one for Aline. I'm sorry.
Let's just take a minute, let everybody review these. They were sent electronically. Let's take a quick look. No, I think that if there's any Scrivener errors, we can do that after we approve them. Yes, I have a copy. Okay, may I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from August 20th as written?
I so move.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye, okay. May I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the September 4th, 2025 special call board meeting as written?
Elaine Mitchell, so moved with any necessary changes or correction.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Aye, okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to item 6, the committee reports. We'll start with rules. Ms. Johnson.
The Rules Committee met and finalized the operations manual. It was sent electronically to everyone. Since that time, there were some very minor edits that had to deal with spelling errors, commas being inserted, a couple of capitalizations, but the substance is exactly the same as was sent. Is there any discussion about what you saw? Okay, then I move that we accept the new operations manual as written and presented.
Elaine Mitchell, second.
I do have a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing this. I know it's difficult to revise this, especially changing the format. I think it's fine the way it's written, but I just want to let everybody know that regarding Title 17, where this is essentially our bylaws, we have decided that we cannot participate electronically. That's more restrictive than what's in the South Carolina Code of Laws. Code of Laws says explicitly that we can participate electronically for county canvass meetings for primary elections. It's silent on general elections, but it's explicit that even the state canvassing board can meet electronically. So I'm happy to be more restrictive for us. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that we are more restrictive than the state. But I think that we should go ahead with this as it's written.
The motion,
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.
and one additional thing.
Yeah.
Bank book. They put in a tremendous amount of formatting, making sure that it was correct.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next, budget and finance. Mr. Backer.
No formal report. We just held our meeting 1 hour ago. We reviewed budget performance versus budget for the first 2 months of the year, and had a brief discussion about the status of some of the capital projects that are outstanding. And Wendell did report that work is starting. A PO is being put in place to start architectural and design work for the generator. The status of other projects in terms of where they are was not reported. We do not have any updates on that. And we discussed about 4 or 5 potential projects for submittal to the 2027 budget.
And for those additional items, are we working on the details for that request? Is that the status?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a question. You said in your meeting, was that the one today, about discussing 4 or 5 projects for the 2027 budget
To submit.
to submit?
For that budget.
Can you share that with us?
Michael, you want to review?
These were, I talked, in talking with the Assistant County Administrator, Ms. Antonacci, she said really, at this point, nobody is submitting anything. Because normally it would be October, we would start making submittals for the capital improvement for next year's budget. However, the Finance Committee Chair, Mr. Becker, wanted us to go ahead and start looking at ideas that we might submit. Some of these we can't discuss because there's security type issues. But one of them, a couple of them that are, we were looking at electrical coils for the new section of the warehouse. Those are like the drop-down plug-in cords to charge the machines and stuff when we're working on them. Actually, the rest of them are all security related, so I'll just, the Finance Committee, actually, I got enough. Pass that to those who weren't in the finance. You can look at them on there.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Backer? Okay, let's move on then to facilities. Mr. Ford?
Mr. Chair, this facility didn't really have a meeting, but I just wanted to comment in reference to our August minutes that we just passed regarding the club at Shell House. During that time, we stated that we had visited with the Shell Hall community to use their clubhouse for voting. And the POA did not want us to use the clubhouse because they didn't want outside residents coming in. The staff has not followed up yet with them regarding this issue, but there are plans to follow up with them again
Great.
to discuss this and see if we can convince them to see the utility and the value of that precinct being a voting location. But the staff has been heavily involved with getting prepared for the November election. After that is completed, then the Facilities Committee will work with the staff to get back with Shell Hall as well as other locations to potentially be precinct location. And that's it for facilities.
Any questions for Mr. Ford? No? Okay, thank you for that report. For the Legislative Affairs Committee, the legislative delegation had a meeting on September 4th. And during that meeting, they presented to Marie Smalls a resolution honoring her many years of service for the Board of Elections and the Beaufort County government. There were a lot of very nice personal comments made by delegation members. The delegation also nominated Don Lucas for the open seat. So Mr. Lucas will go through the vetting process with the governor's office prior to his appointment. I presented to the delegation the 3 issues that we as a board had approved on July 17th regarding poll worker pay, local legislation for pooling precincts on election day, and the equipment purchase process, whether that's the responsibility of the county and the state. And so the delegation suggested that we differentiate between incremental purchase of equipment and new technology purchases such as the DS300s, which we had last year. So that's pending. I haven't had any follow-up on that, but I expect that we'll do our best to support discussions between the legislature and the SEC on equipment purchases. Regarding S36, that was a bill filed by Senator Campson last year. Mr. Campson said that he will be pushing that bill again in the next session. That's the bill that allows precinct sizes to grow from 1,500 to 3,000 and gives discretion to the county boards of election to pool polling places on election day. So we, as a Legislative Affairs Committee, will meet to discuss a resolution that we had discussed previously. And finally, Mr. Herb Kurzman, the chairman of the legislative delegation, presented to me on behalf of the board a framed copy of H 4350. That's the bill that passed this year to add 8 new precincts to Beaufort County. And he presented it as a record for passing a bill in South Carolina. It was 32 days from filing to signing by the governor. So I've brought that framed bill over here. We'll have to find a place to hang that in the office. And that's it for legislative affairs. Any questions for me? No. Okay, next is redistricting committee. Ms. Dorr?
There is no report at this time.
Okay. All right, moving on. Item 7 is unfinished business. The only thing I had on my list was the Shell Hall Community POA, so Mr. Ford addressed that already. Is there any other unfinished business that needs to be addressed? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. There is let's see, Chichesi 1 is currently a precinct that is within a single community. However, there's a small number of homes, 30, 40 homes that are excluded and are in Chichesi 3. So I would like to make a motion to have the staff take a look at moving the boundary line for Chichesi 1 and 3 to make Chichesi 1 a fully self-contained precinct within the community of Kalawasi. Yeah.
How many residents?
Will be impacted by the change.
Right. Approximately.
60.
Yeah, there's about, the complication here is that the way the lines were drawn, Spring Island Drive, which runs kind of east and west, the even number homes are in Chichesi 1. The odd number homes are in Chichesi 3. And then that precinct line extends over to Spring Island. So it kind of segregates Kalawasi.
Right.
But the thought here would be, I've spoken to General Manager and the President of the POA. They're willing to consider using one of their facilities as a voting location if it could all be contained to Kalawasi Island. So if we could change that line, move it north a little bit, and cut it off so it doesn't go onto Spring Island, you could create Chichesi 1 precinct would then be all inclusive Kalawasi Island. And the other voters on Spring Island would be in Chichesi 3, and they would be voting at the location that is already in Chichesi 3.
So will the total exceed 1,500 or be less than
No.
15? Okay.
No, be less. Be about between 900 and 1,000.
And as far as timing is concerned, this is something that we would try to do by the November 2026 election? Yeah.
But I think what is
Well-
needed at this point is to probably set up a meeting with the staff and the GM, because there's a couple of possibilities, but my concern is availability and visibility for curbside voting, handicap locations, things
In their
like that.
place, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, either we have it in June or we don't do it, because June voters determine who's in the election in November. So we have to have it by June, or we can't do it at all until after that November election. So we can look at that. We could definitely work at that.
I'd like to certainly have you all take a look. There's 2 possible locations, but again, neither one is perfect because of visibility for curbside and handicap spots.
Now, when we I'm assuming that's gonna come under facilities, so will there be time to meet after the November election to address this issue and still have time to get it implemented before June?
Yeah, Vernon, because, the lady out in, Bluffton, remember we did that? It wasn't that difficult when we made that move, so
Okay.
I think we can get it done, yeah.
We'll put it on the agenda for, I guess, the election. November, we'll try to do it at December.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
December
so in
meeting.
December, yeah.
Just let me know and I can coordinate scheduling a visit.
Okay, that'll work.
And this would be a change that would be implemented by the Fiscal Affairs Office
Right.
alone, right?
Yeah,
There's
they
no
have- yeah, 'cause,
no legislation required for
I don't
this.
think, no, because we didn't have, we didn't have to go through all of that with the lady out in Bluffton. Yeah, GIS and all that, so moving that line, yeah.
Okay.
That's Chessie 1 and 3.
And
Just
3.
1 and 3.
So that will make Chichester 1 fully self-contained in Kalawasi. Okay, I don't think a vote is required on that. Is there any other new business?
I have a quick question. When will there, and maybe they already are, maps be available of the new precincts that we created? So like, as an example, I now live in Ladies Island 1D as opposed to 1B. When will there be new maps for 1D and 1B and all the other changes?
I believe the county GIS maps are already updated.
They're updated
Yeah, 'cause
already?
Yes.
I have to look at them all the time, so yeah, they're updated.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wondered if they were ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to item 9, the director's report. Mr. Robertson?
Close the door there. I guess there's people in the lobby, or a person in the lobby.
Right.
Is somebody in the lobby?
No, what did you do? It totally went away, just disappeared. You don't have to do anything, do you?
No, I can still see it in there. Pretty both.
Did everybody get the updated one this morning? I had to read. Okay.
Updated one here on this hard sheet. It was passed out.
No. That's the one you ran yesterday? No, that is not the updated one.
No, I got it.
That's all I had.
But the only difference is one new page.
It's one page, yeah, it's one
Right.
page. I just added in.
Not able to print it though.
you-
Go ahead and open up your, because yours.
It should come up.
Should come up right here.
Okay, all right. Sorry, apologize for that. Well,
The door.
Craig,
I got it.
all right, couple of things y'all have already seen, but we wanted to go over. We're gonna talk about some election updates. Once again, reiterate CIP, the precinct updates and miscellaneous updates. Once again, our town of election of, November municipal elections. We have 2 council seats in Port Royal, 2 council seats in Bluffton. Mr. Dress withdrew from the Bluffton election, so we will not have a runoff in any of these elections.
So, excuse me, Wendell, that means 2 people filed in Port Royal and 2 people net filed in Bluffton?
Right.
Okay.
So we will not have a runoff, and then the mayor and the town council seats, we wouldn't be involved in any runoff at that particular situation anyway. They ended their filing period on the 5th of September, so all of that is done. The public notices for both of these went out already. The first one went out on September the 5th, the second on the 19th. So someone asked the question about how do they know if their voting place changed or anything like that. It would have been through the public notice. So those are the accesses that we send in, also through any other media purposes. We will do a hand count audit on the 5th, which is the next day at 10 o'clock here in the office. We will pick a precinct from Bluffton and a precinct from Port Royal to do the hand count audit. It's not required by the state, but we are going to do one, and we do have a record of it on our website when we do them, so people will know what we did. And it will be open to the public as well, and a notice will go out for that. The campus hearings for both of those will be on November the 6th. The town of Bluffton will do their own campus hearing here at 10 o'clock. And then our offices, our board will take care of the campus hearing for Port Royal at 10:30 a.m.
Does the Bluffton canvas, do they do their own hand count audit, or they will depend
We
upon
still
us?
do the hand count audit.
We'll still do.
We still do the hand
for
count,
both.
but their MEC will take care of their, they'll go through the process in here just like you guys would, except they do it for themselves.
Okay.
The registration, once again, for anybody that who has not registered for the November elections, obviously in person, is Friday, October 3rd, before 5. Email, fax, or online is Sunday, the 5th, by 11:59 that night. And by mail, they must be postmarked by Monday, October the 6th. Once again, the early voting centers will be open the 20th through the 24th and the 27th through the 31st. One will be at the Beaufort County, here in the main office, in this room, and the other one will be at the Bluffton Rec Center Gymnasium. We're gonna have 4 BMDs here on this side because it's the smaller of the 2 elections. And I hope they get used. And then in Bluffton, we're gonna have 6. Once again, they will come out for early voting. It's 2 weeks, but we don't foresee having to use more than that because the people will come, they come steadily, and it's not an issue with the room and everything we have over there.
Wendell, I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
What's the paving status of the Bluffton Rec Center?
You said the paving,
Paving, the
That's one of
parking lot paving.
that is still one of those things that is, along with it's a CIP type project. So it falls into the category of all the CIP projects that are pretty much no status, so to speak, as far as public status for any of us to know or anything at this point. So we pray that by June it will be straight. I have a feeling that by June they should have that done, but definitely won't be done in November.
Okay, my other questions are, what is your forecasted overall turnout for the elections?
The 29,353, Vernon?
Yes.
Total people coming or for the election. He's gonna pull it up, he is on over there.
Matt, you're referring,
Yesterday, 29,788 eligible voters who are eligible for between all 3 elections. 80 of them belong into the town of Yamasee.
Right.
And, between both.
And you're talking, when you say that, you mean like percentage wise, what would we say?
Yeah, have you made an assumption of what the turnout would be? Like 2021, I think we had in Bluffton 17% overall turnout, and that was including a statewide referendum question, or not a statewide, a countywide.
This is a totally different without that county referendum.
Right.
So we haven't come out with a percentage or come out with a forecasted percentage, but based on our experience, without a countywide referendum, I would bring that down to 15 to 13, if that, in Bluffton. And Port Royal even less than Bluffton. Those two.
Matt, I can attest.
Mm-hmm.
And those up because they've already been out.
Real low. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll bring in our temporary full-time staff on next Monday. And they will be here in the office and at all, we have them between, at the Bluffton EBC as well. And the Bluffton office on Myrtle Park has been open since Monday. And we'll be open until November the 16th. We're not having a runoff on a daily basis in the normal time, 9 to 4. That's basically because of, we got it open now because of registration opportunities.
In Bluffton, because I've had this popped up to me and I didn't answer it because I didn't know what the answer would have been. This person, can this individual do a,
Somebody that wants to do it other than him?
yes,
Or just him writing his Oh, you mean somebody writing his name in?
yes.
They can do that if they want to, up to them.
So that it is possible if he garner enough, that it
He still had to,
be a runoff.
he had to have, he would have to said, his intent is gone. So if you have an intent and you're in there, he withdrew, so his intent is gone. If you have an intent and you're in right in, that's when it counts. But this won't count because he doesn't have an intent to run, because he withdrew himself.
However,
That's like saying people write in Donald Duck, and Donald Duck wins. He didn't intend to run, so we can't count him. So that's the process behind that.
But what if I change my mind after I withdrew?
He still has to have that letter. He has to have that, the documentation into us that he intends to run for that. A write-in person can have an intent, and we have to have it on file, but if there's nothing for a person's intentions, we can't.
But to your question, Aline, I believe if the candidate who withdrew changes their mind and the day before the election, they can submit a letter and say, well, I thought about it again, I would like to be considered, and then voters can certainly write in their name.
There's a filing deadline too. And if you don't meet that deadline, and he changed his mind, but it's after the deadline that he started the write-in process.
We can look, double check on it.
I don't think that's the right for a write-in.
For write-ins, that's right. So the filing deadline is to,
It's a deadline
Be on the
to file
ballot.
And then pay your filing fee, that's the deadline.
Right.
But write-ins do not have to pay a fee.
Right.
So a lot of time it may behoove them to just get out there and get on others and say, write my name in, and that would count. I think, I want to
think
make
there's
sure
a
I
process.
I
understand.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
What we'll do, we will look up what the law says and also talk to the SEC about it, and we'll get a statement out to you.
If you remember the school district seat? That's what they did.
They're a write-in process
yes.
whereby the spellings are considered, the spellings for the name, et cetera. There is
That's
a
all involved
process.
with well, the spellings are considered because if it's anywhere close with write-ins, it counts towards that. If it's way off and there's nothing close, then it doesn't count. Those are the issues involved with that. But as far as the write-in, anybody can be a write-in, but we still have to have a letter of intent at some point letting them know that that person wants to be on the ballot. I mean, not on the ballot, but considered.
Mr. Chair, this sounds like I would recommend legal understanding before we try to make a decision on this at this point. Hate for us to make a decision and it's against the law or whatever decision we make. So I would recommend we get a legal interpretation regarding writing candidates and present it back to the board.
Because you're speaking specifically in the case of this gentleman reinstituting himself as a candidate, or having himself reinstituted as a candidate.
Yes, or he could have someone else. I didn't say we were not gonna have a runoff, that's when I started. Okay, that renege, if he garners, and try to throw those other two people.
Again, I think it's a
Yeah.
legal issue.
Yeah, it is, so we really need to know.
Yeah, Mr. Robertson, you mentioned you'd speak with the SEC. Could you please prepare a statement to send to the board after investigating this? Okay, great, thank you.
Once again, these are our polling locations for the election. We had them in the last meeting as well. None of those have changed, thank God. Okay, all of our poll workers have been assigned and made aware of their training. There is possibility for some more workers, because we are looking at a few places where we want to maybe show them up a little bit more. So we are, reaching out to some other people, saying they're interested in working. The clerks have their list of workers and are contacting them about coming to training, making sure they're training. I think we just get 42 had signed up there.
It's less than that. It's around 25, 26. It's in the 20s now.
As of yet, everybody else is signed up. All of them have clerks right now. The route we are going is obviously with the lead clerks, and some of the places that have more than one, we're not, having two big supply bags. We haven't, like we did in the past when it's a small election like this. The lead clerk will have a supply bag, but it will have information for both precincts in there, that kind of thing. Instead of doing all that extra work that doesn't need to be done, especially if the turnout is as low as we predict it could be. But we will make sure all the information is in there for both precincts. It will be the lead clerk. The lead clerk will be the one to pick up the supplies or what have you, okay? All the board members that are involved, should have received your list and everything of work. If y'all want to call them and talk to them and remind them as well. Distribution of supplies will be on the 3rd for the town of Bluffton, at the Bluffton Library from 11 to 12, and in Port Royal, 11, here from 11 to 4. Also, security issues that we normally do during an election will be done at that time as well. Everybody grasp? Okay, all right.
Will we have any new clerks working this election?
Not as brand new, no.
No brand new
No
ones?
brand new.
No-
What we do,
no first time.
we do have a lot of first timers working, because this was the perfect opportunity to get them acclimated as to what could happen.
But no first-time clerks?
No first-time clerk. No, wait. Well, I have a first time as a real, I'm not a real clerk. He was an assistant clerk in training. It's his first time as a clerk, but he's working with another experienced clerk. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, only one person in that particular situation.
okay.
Okay, mandatory briefings have been set up for the 7th and the 9th. The 7th in Bluffton at 9:30 in the morning till 11:30, and here on the 9th from 6 to 8.
That's October, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, jeez. I'm sorry.
October.
Yeah, October. Proofreader.
I wasn't the only one.
Right. October. All these are October dates. I'm sorry. All these are October dates. And also, board members, we're asking you to attend at least one of them so you'll know what's being trained for all of your workers in the election as well. The testing for all ballot styles, both paper and BMD, will be completed by the 30th of this month. That's the right date, September 30th. Yeah.
Sorry, I did have a question.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
About board members. For the board members who are not assigned to oversee precincts for this election, are there other duties that we'd like them to do, such as working in the office here,
Well,
helping with pickup? Well,
Mike says no.
Stay away.
The same way, I would venture to say the same way that y'all participated in the past. So, 'cause I know like Mr. Ford was coming with us on that day before. So if you would like to come in, we would appreciate the help. I don't think the phone's gonna be ringing, to be honest with you, but if you want to come and do that as well, we'd appreciate that as well.
It would have to be a greeter too. You stand at the door and greet the people in and,
You mean early voting?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, early voting, everybody's,
Yeah.
it's not involved, or whatever. You're saying that because nobody's gonna show up.
I was thinking specifically about election day, though.
Yeah, election day, I think, in the heavy area, obviously gonna be Bluffton more than anything. But even then, I'm just thinking back in the past and what's happened in the past, and Ms. Allen can talk to that as well. Yeah, it's almost like, the issues, if anything, would be that night at closing, and, I mean, not closing, what do you call it?
Drop off.
Drop off. Like, we need help with drop off, especially in Bluffton. I don't have to work as hard, but just to help keep it streamlined a little bit more, probably in Bluffton here, issue at all, but definitely in Bluffton. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Johnson, am I gonna have you guys election night?
You want us, or at least I can't speak for Mr. Ford. I mean, I do have precincts in this election.
Yeah, if you want to come help, you guys always race and do a challenge with each other for it. See who answers the phone first.
So who are the board members who do not have precincts on election day?
Ward
And me.
and you.
That's it, just the
That's
two
it.
of us?
Mike,
Sawicki.
Mr. Sawicki doesn't have any either. Just three of y'all, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
A couple of you only have like 3.
And my previous experience is my Sheldon precincts. Think last time they had a municipal election, I think they had 3 people vote, and it was part of a bigger election, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Public testing will take place on the 2nd of October at 1 here back in the office. And the second test will take place on the 30th at 10 o'clock. And the training for the techs will take place on October the 16th. And how many, I think 4 techs for the selection, right? 4 to 5. 4 to 5, yeah.
5 and the 3 of them is Bluffton.
2 on this side. And we on Saturday, no, Friday night, we sent out 100, not us, but enhanced voting, sent out 136 digital UOCAVA ballots. And Chris said you see some in within 25 minutes.
If,
Yeah, so that's enhanced ballot, explain that for us, because I'm sure some of them will have a question about that.
Enhanced ballot, information is used with the company to be able to streamline the ballots. What we do is once we test our database, then our database sent over to their team. And then what they do is we just put and once we do that, then is able to send them out electronically to those requests for all everybody who's on UOCAVA to be sent out to them that request. It's automatically sent to their email accounts, and then within a matter of, like I said, minutes or so, fill out the ballot, and then return it right back to us. That is tracking on it.
It's through a secure system.
Secure system. And then on election day, 9 a.m., we approved. Go back and track all that from the secure side. Our actually both in the building, so there's no, I don't have to do any work on it, just put them off and run them to the scan. Keep, I don't
encrypted, so we never know who gets what when it comes back. We never know anything like that. We know who the voter is that returned a ballot, but the specific ballot, once it's encrypted and returned to us, we have no idea whose it is or anything. Also, UOCAVA, for anyone who doesn't know, is for active duty military who is not stationed or is not in Beaufort County, and any overseas citizens. That does not include people who are on cruise ships or just vacationing. They have to be living over there.
As of when I typed this, we had 10 absentee requests. Have we gotten any more?
Haven't checked, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so we've only had 10 absentee requests for ballots for this election thus far.
Non-military civilians.
Yeah, non-military. Here's our new poll worker training. Our last class was on the 17th, which is last Wednesday. We had 30 people sign up and 26 showed up. Here are y'all's distributions. This is what you ended up with for the year. So our winner was Mr. Cooper and the vacant person, or hopefully, or Mr. No, I'm sorry. Mr. Cooper is the winner. Hands down, 36 people. Sun City, of course, in Western Bluffton. We had 211 for the year. Okay. At the next board meeting, we will show you our dates for next year's training. We've already gotten those worked on. I've been discussing them, and we're going to have those out for the October meeting, so you'll know when we'll have classes next year.
And I did actually get someone to sign up for one of them, so I have one person registered.
Okay, capital improvement project status, as Mr. Backer kind of mentioned earlier. The one that we do know anything about at this particular point is that their purchase order is in progress to do the architectural design for. All right, that purchase order, and it is funded and everything. That was specifically the information that she gave me. October would be the month that we start making submissions for 27 out, but she said nobody's making any, she doesn't want any, they don't want anybody making submissions because they're still straightening out all the issues with the past ones over the past 2 years.
So did she say November is when they'd like those?
Of any other time.
Okay.
She basically said, talking with the chief financial officer, right now, they don't want any submissions until they get what they need to get cleared up, and then they'll ask us when they want submissions, or tell us when they want submissions.
Okay, but we're proceeding to prepare them anyway, so that we'll
Yeah,
be
we're
ready.
getting ahead, yeah.
Okay. And the architectural and engineering design and planning, is that done in-house or is that a third party?
That's a third party, yeah.
Is that something that we go out for bid for, or the CIP department goes out to bid for?
I would think they do.
They do.
If it's a third party, they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't, we have nothing to do with that process, but they have to bid it out based on the cost of it. They have to bid it out. I don't know whether this means out because they have a purchase order, or the purchase order and everything is in place, and whoever will win the bid gets it, so. But that's all we have on that at this time. Okay, this is the basic precinct reports as far as where we are as far as precincts. At last meeting, I think we had one, or meeting before last, we had one precinct that was under 15, over 15, now we got two. And it happened to be New River, the two of the New River sites, precincts. So one's, I think, at like 1593 and the other one's at 1540, okay? And here was the breakdown of single and co-located sites. And those probably aren't going to change anytime soon. It depends on what happens with Shell Hall and hopefully Chichesi. This may change. Hopefully we'll get that to change. I'm glad that that's something that's an option for us. And here is the location of the locations. The voting locations for everybody. 74 of them are within their polling place, and 60 of them aren't. So we're 55 and 45% with those of the 134. And then lastly, 42 of them are adjacent, 10 of them are at least 2 away, 5 or at least 3 away, and that's Sun City. Every time you see that 3, that's Sun City. And we can't do anything about that right now. So we have a total of 57 that are, once again, not in their precinct.
Wendell, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because I may be interpreting this information incorrectly. In the previous slide, precincts with polling places out of precinct
Right.
says 60. And down below, it says 50, yeah, I interpret that to be 57.
Because one of them is, which was, is 3 of them where they were like, 3 of them where they were like not in their thing at all. How did that look at that? There were 3 of them that did not have, the precinct didn't have any, the polling location didn't have any of them in there. Does that make sense? They didn't have any of their locations in that particular any of their precincts in that location. They weren't in the location at all.
Still don't, I'm not
60.
following.
You got 5 that meet
I
that
got it.
category.
You know what? Hold on. I have
There's 57 with polling places out of the precinct and 5 with polling places located precinct, 3 precincts away, that comes to 62.
57. Let me go back and look at that. But I know there were like 2 that did not have, the location was not in the precinct, and none of the precincts in that location were in that precinct. But it was the only place that they could vote. So that's where it probably got twisted around. I might have it reversed, but I'll go and get that up, straighten it out, and I'll send you a corrected slide based on that. Yeah, let me go back and look at that. I think it's a reverse on that number. As far as miscellaneous updates, we did do 2 outreach situations. On the 18th, Gene and I went and spoke to the North of the Broad Democratic Club at the Grace AME, the old Grace AME Church. We spoke to about 20 people in that. To give you, and I'm sure you already know, but just to reiterate for those who may be listening, whenever any of us go out to speak to a partisan group, we tell them we are required to go first, so that when they start discussing policy and partisanship ideas, we are gone. We are not in there when they're discussing it. We talk straight general ethics about elections, processes, question and answer and Q&A and all that kind of stuff. That's all we do when we go to these, when there's a partisan type group. So, never any information that is, we are not in the room when they're doing policy information or partisan information. Everything is done up front. We always go first. Okay?
Are there any upcoming outreach events? Anything
Not-
planned the rest of the year?
We haven't had any request for anything because they wanted, because of the small election that was coming up, they wanted to just have somebody, because they had gotten information and they wanted some transparency and clarification. And we took
That's
care of-
fine. I was just
yeah.
curious if there are any others before the end of the
We
year.
haven't
We have
anything-
not planned any.
Yeah, we haven't planned any, and there's no request. If a request comes in, then we will definitely go and speak to them. Also, the AME convention was held in Bluffton, at Campbell AME and Cornerstone Church in Bluffton. And apparently, she said 800 some odd people were there. I put 600 being kind of, but they asked us to come and set up an information table. So Gene and Jamie went out there to set up an information table for anybody who wanted to register in Beaufort County, and just basic information about voter registration, or what have you. So those were 2 events that we did participate in just in 1 week last week. Also, we did have 1 clerk that did attend, the other 2 dropped out. Our first state certified clerks class. And that was Shaquilla Brown. And I always proudly, when I see her name, I just smile because she was one of my students when I worked at Battery Creek. And she started off as a poll worker as a student and has grown into one of our outstanding clerks. And we felt she was a good opportunity, especially as young as she is, to go to this training. And she thoroughly enjoyed, well, you read it, she thoroughly enjoyed the training and the opportunity. She said what she especially liked was the opportunity to talk to other clerks from around the state and see how they do things, and especially setting up the precincts or what have you. I don't know if Ms. Beverly knows this story, but I don't know if I shared it with you before. She was, I don't know if she was just a poll worker at Port Royal. She's in Port Royal. She's one of the clerks at Port
Catches
Royal.
on
And she's
very
very
quickly.
astute and very whatever. And she was a poll worker at Port Royal. And the clerk didn't show up on this one election. And so she had the book and the paperwork in our checklist that Vernon and the staff, we had put together about do this, next do this, next do this. And she set up the precinct by herself and clerked it that day by herself in Port Royal. And
Help with some other
and
precincts
yeah, she's helped with
as
other
well.
precincts as well. So, like I said, I am very proud of her. She is one of our clerks that we appreciate in the work that she does. And her attitude and positivity really bode well for our office. So if you ever get a chance to see who she is or to tell her, hey, I heard about you, good job, whatever. And she did also make a recommendation. She said, I highly recommend that whenever they open the class again, for us to send other clerks there as well. So we were very happy with the outcome of that, and she was too. And her knowledge is going to be immeasurable when she gets out there. And I think would they get extra $100?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she gets extra $100 because she was one of those that attended this training from the state.
How did we end up splitting expenses for the training? Splitting between the county and the SEC?
Oh, the SEC paid for the hotel. They were reimbursing us for the hotel, but we took care of mileage, and they paid for lunch for them every day. We took care of mileage and per diem for the things that they didn't feed them.
And what was the conclusion in response to our request to send an observer to that training?
It was.
Said no.
It was
They said
declined.
no. I'll leave it at that. They said no. I can tell you later, but they told us no. Okay, any other questions or better report? I will look into this outside of the precinct thing, find out how I got those switched around. I think it was reversed.
Okay, questions?
Oh, I'm sorry, one last thing I did want, and Vernon, here, I'll pass this around. These are the allocations for the election, so those are the, for the BMDs and scanners or what have you, curbside for the election. And that is based on past experience, what we feel is appropriate for the numbers that we expect to show up. So I'll give you an idea.
You don't need one. There you go.
Okay, so thanks for these allocations. I'd like the board to approve these, and why don't we plan to do that at the October meeting, since we all just received these? So we'll put that on new business for the next meeting.
I'm ready to go into executive session.
Okay, next is executive session under South Carolina Code Section 304070A1 to engage in discussions incident to employment, appointment, or compensation of a person regulated by a public body. In this case, discussion of candidates for the position of Board of Voter Registration and Elections of Beaufort County Director. So may I have a motion to move into executive session?
Lean, so moved that we move into executive session.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Sawicki, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So it's 3:04 PM.
And I need to leave right now. My phone, I
Okay.
believe that's allowed, so I'll be calling you here in the next minute or two.
Yes, as soon as you get yourself settled in, just
Right.
call me.
Okay, thank you.
Still on the phone? It's 4:01, the regular session is resuming. We've had one board member, Ms. Mitchell, who had to leave for a prior appointment, and Ms. Johnson is on the phone with us. So we had adjourned out of executive session where no votes were taken, and there are no matters arising out of executive session to be taken up here in the general meeting. So with that, I'll make some announcements. The next board meeting is scheduled for October 15th, 2 o'clock, right here in this office. I know the staff is super busy getting ready for the election and early voting, so we will do our best to not get in the way over the next 6 weeks or so. And as far as closing comments are concerned, I want to thank,
One last thing while
Yes.
y'all were there.
Yep.
We researched the
Yep.
question that Ms. Mitchell had.
Yep.
And the individual has to submit a letter of intent within 14 days after the deadline in order to be considered as a write-in, especially if he actually submitted his withdrawal letter last week too. The 14th day was Friday of last week. And he submitted his withdrawal letter like Monday or Tuesday of that week. So that's the answer to that question about him being able to be a write-in and count. That is, well, the way.
Item 5.
oh, and it
Yeah.
says, item B says, if you don't follow that, your votes will not be counted. Okay, interesting. 15th. Yeah, the 15th at 2 o'clock right here. All right, so any additional comments before we adjourn? May I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Sawicki? Second by Ms. Johnson, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.